Today, we're talking about the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. Let's geek in. Welcome to our inaugural episode of Geek In. I am your host, Doug Croft. First off, last month I had a discussion with my favorite person ever, Alexa Chipman, about the Lunar Chronicles and the Lunar Chronicles book series. The link is on the screen and in the description below. Check out and subscribe to her channel too. It has an excellent book club plus various other vlogs. However, on this week's episode, I want to talk about the Lunar Chronicles. The Lunar Chronicles by author Marissa Meyer is a 4-book set with 2 additional books that add more backstory to the characters in the series. The series is a sci-fi twist on classic fairy tales. Each of the 4 books is titled after a fairy tale protagonist. The first book, Cinder, starts us off with our main protagonist, a cyborg version of Cinderella. But instead of a glass slipper, she has a robotic foot. The second book, Scarlet, introduces us to Little Red Riding Hood, a pilot, and her genetically altered soldier, Wolf. The third book, Cress, is a Rapunzel trapped not in a tower, but in a satellite. And the fourth book, Winter, is titled for Snow White, who lives under the thumb of her evil stepmother that rules the lunar colony. The first thing that struck me when I started reading Cinder was how grim this story is. Not only Cinder's true to the fairy tale's family problems, but how bleak a world she inhabits. Earth is being ravaged by a plague with no known cure. People who catch the plague are immediately rounded up and sent to death camps. Others are rounded up and used against their will for medical experiments to try and develop a cure for the plague. Cyborgs like Cinder have no human rights under the law. Cinder's forced to hide her cyborg nature as a shameful secret. And in the background of all that, war looms between the citizens of Earth and the citizens of the Moon, who have a terrifying ability to control others and take away their free will. But despite the dark tone of the series, or perhaps because of it, the characters in the series really shine through. Cinder's placed in some very tough situations, but like a true heroine, never gives up. She's resilient and fights to do what she believes is right. She has her own doubts about her self-worth because of her status as a cyborg, but she's unerringly loyal to her friends and does what she has to do in order to protect them. The other protagonists in the series, Scarlet, Wolf, Cress, Thorn, Aiko, Winter, Prince Kai, they're all equally well fleshed out, and I felt like they were real people that I was coming to know through the course of the books. The main villain, the Lunar Queen, was also a well thought out multi-dimensional character. The supplementary book, Fairest, gives us her backstory, showing how she went from being an innocent child to a hideously cruel queen. This book was the most difficult for me to read. There are no chapter breaks in the story or light interludes told from the perspective of another character. It's told entirely from the perspective of the Lunar Queen. You have to endure her committing one despicable act after another, all justified by her warped logic and sense of entitlement. Author Marissa Meyer must have known the torturous effect that structuring a book this way would have. Be warned before you start reading it that you may not find it an easy read. But as a whole, I thought the series was an excellent read. I really enjoyed seeing these classic fairy tales told in a new way, with a science fiction-based plot. And the characters themselves were very engaging. It was like meeting new friends. The only flaw in the plot for me were some of the romantic bits. Our protagonists all paired off with each other a little bit too easily, which doesn't really mirror the real-life drama of romantic attachment. It's all a little too convenient that there are no love triangles or unrequited feelings in their little group. Still, that flaw aside, these are excellent stories that left me wanting more. I would definitely recommend reading the series. I give it 4 out of a possible 5 cyborg feet. sadly, our time for this episode is over, and I must leave before my carriage turns back into a pumpkin. Comment below and let me know what you thought of the books if you've read them, or if you plan to give them a try. It also makes me happy to see those like and subscribe buttons clicked. And go to the show's Patreon page and show me some love too if you can. All those things are a big help to keeping new content flowing. The link is in the description below. Tune in next time to see me eat an apple some strange woman just hands me. Because, why not?